Okay. This is a unplanned live session. If you were watching my session 2 Q&A, I did say that I probably would come back on. So here I am. I figured I jump on just in case there were any late night visitors or people who listen to the podcast or watch the podcast. And I figured, all right, well, let's do one last one. Okay, so three people have joined. Welcome. This is Demystifying Gay Porn's session 3 Q&A. If you've missed the other ones, I decided to jump back on for about 20 minutes or so just to see if anybody was up that I missed in the other Q&A sessions. And if you had any questions or anything, here I am. So, yeah, I hope everybody had a great night tonight. Uh, I did. I did about three. Actually, this is yeah, this is the fourth Q&A session. I did a private one for the Patreon members, and I jumped on at 3 and at 5, just so I can kind of vary times and when people were available and stuff. And I figured a late night one might be good. None of this was planned, or at least there was a shoddy planning. So yeah, I am available for the next 15 minutes if you guys are interested in asking any questions. I am here, and I kind of want to give a little bit of a breakdown of what's going to happen for season 5, if you were interested. So yeah, I see there's 3 of you on. Thank you very much for joining me. Again, if you have any questions, please make the live chat pop. I will answer those questions for you. Yeah. I hope, like I said before, I hope everybody had a good night. It's Saturday. It's 11:45. I don't expect a lot of people to be on, but I figured I had some time on my hands. Let's talk to some people. Um, I also want to take this opportunity to thank you guys. 49,000 subscribers. We, well, I started this in 2019. And when I started doing the history podcast in 2023, it jumped from 4,000 subscribers to 49,000 subscribers. So I absolutely appreciate that. Uh, Sam Williams, Hola Grande. I love DGP. Your work is important. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I absolutely appreciate that. Um, I enjoy doing the podcast. I enjoy in the other 2 sessions that I had. Thank you very much. Lucky James, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I uh, Back to Sam real quick. I said in the other sessions that I had earlier today that um I feel like the podcast is a very, very good balance for me when it comes to presenting another aspect of what it is that I do for work. Working in adult entertainment can have its ups and obviously its downs, but as a creative person, I feel like doing the podcast and presenting what is on the podcast is um, helpful for me. For somebody who enjoys documentaries and history, it definitely helps. So, all right. So there are 4 of you on. I will hang out here for a little bit and just see if you have any questions, be it personal, be it podcast related, be it porn related. And again, like I said, this is very ill planned. However, I did feel like there needed to be uh, I feel like there definitely needed to be a closure to season 4. Sam Williams, what I enjoy most is that you highlight history and people who must not be ignored. You're absolutely right. Welky James, no question here, but you do great work. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Um, okay, Vergith 2. How many producers of gay adult films are currently active in the US? Oof. Are we talking independent producers or are we talking studios? Because that's, I mean, independent producers, there's several. Um, Studio producers, also several. There might be a couple. I mean, Treasure Island alone has like 5 or 6 producers. So there's a lot of people. Welky James, where are you based? I am based. I work for Treasure Island out of their New York office, but I myself live in New Jersey, in northern New Jersey. So that's where I am, and I predominantly shoot for them all throughout the East Coast. Yeah, but yeah, no, I will absolutely take a look at how many producers are doing gay adult films at the moment. Off the top of my head, I don't know, but I know it's definitely it's got to be in the 50s, and we're not even talking content creators and stuff because they're now producers as well. Yeah. Oh, I do have some questions that did come in through the website before, so let me go ahead and take this opportunity to answer some of those. Sam Williams, what effect does OnlyFans have on the industry? Okay, OnlyFans serves as a disruptor, very similar to Airbnb, very similar to others. I'm trying to think of Airbnb, Uber. It basically put the power into the model's hands, and I say that because I remember a point in time between 2012 and 2014 where studios were making the decision of saying, okay, well, this person's career's done. We don't need to work with them anymore. And when that would happen, there were still people that would watch or would be willing to pay for these models to be appearing in films. However, the studios were making that decision or deciding whether or not we were going to work with them again. So OnlyFans filled that void very well. Um, and I feel like that, I don't think that it's having a huge effect at the moment, but little by little, it's taking away or eating away at profits that studios would be making. But it's also on their hands. It's their fault. They could have for an industry that does a lot of exploitation. I'm shocked that they didn't take advantage of that situation. Do you feel that OnlyFans has helped the industry? I feel like OnlyFans has helped individual or independent producers make their own money. I don't feel like it's necessarily helped an industry. If anything, what I feel like it's done predominantly is allowed other people who you wouldn't necessarily see in studios or doing studio work have a career, not only in OnlyFans, but outside of that. Kevin, you came back. What are some of your? I did come back. I did say that I might possibly come back later on tonight, but here I am. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us again. So you came back. What are some of your favorite videos that you've worked on? I would have to say that a lot of the favorite videos that I've worked on have been for Dark Alley Raw Fuck Club, closer to the end of my time there because they gave me more credit or they gave me more leeway to do whatever I wanted to do. Um, and that was important because they had placed a certain amount of trust. So I basically got a budget and I was able to produce a lot of projects. I know that one of the ones that people really do enjoy is the Fire Island Fuckboy, which I can't take credit for because I put together the casting and stuff, but that project was put together and it was thought to be a good project for the studio, which it was. Okay, so Hobart, Chicago. What do you think about Dark Fans website? If I'm not mistaken, Dark Fans is more on like the dirtier kink side. Get back to me on that, Hubert. Scorchy. I feel OnlyFans is ruining porn. Most of it is shot terribly, and you can't save what you paid for to watch. You're absolutely right. I I'm I'm not a fan of setting up a camera. Well, here there's a lot of little things that. Well, first and foremost, okay, so let me say I agree with you when I feel like OnlyFans might be the destruction of the future of any kind of anything erotic. If you've listened to or if you watch some of the sessions that I did earlier today, I do make fun of the fact that there are models who the only thing they do is stare at the camera while they're, someone's giving them a blowjob or while they're inside of somebody. I don't think there's anything erotic about that at all. And also, I feel like there's a difference between a professional model or a content creator putting a camera up and making money off of it and something like Xtube when you knew that it was amateurs and the idea that it was an amateur made it sexy. So who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, I feel like there's good creators on OnlyFans, but there's also people who are just in it for the money, just like any industry. So let's hope something changes. Hubert, yeah, dark fans. I think it's great. I think if you can highlight anything and create safe spaces for people to do stuff that they enjoy and their kinks and stuff. I think that's great. Hubert, Chicago. There's a lot of mainstream porn stars with on the site. Wink, wink. Okay, cool. What pass, Kasan? Some fundamentalists argue that doing porn is a form of solicitate. Okay, solicitation. Do you agree? I personally don't. Where's the art then? Okay, let me wrap my head around that question. Is it solicitation? Solicitation in my head means somebody coming to you, whereas you're coming to porn, if I'm not mistaken. Or if I hope I'm reading into that correctly. So I'm not sure how to answer that first part of the question, but the art, oof, the art aspect of that question or the art section of that question, you're absolutely right. Where is the art? I think that finding art in porn nowadays is few and far between. I don't think necessarily what I shoot is art. However, to how it's there is an art to how it's made. I don't know if that makes any sense. Um, it's not necessarily something that somebody would look at as a piece of art or work. However, putting it all together and getting two guys in a room that will make a great sex scene is art in itself. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's the best way I can answer that right now. Kevin, I think OnlyFans dumb down porn. We need movies like back in the day with a studio and a decent budget. Okay, I can agree. I can agree with that. What pass? If it is solicitation, then there isn't any aesthetics value in pork at all. That's my reasoning. Yes, but I'm not understanding the solicitation. The, my definition of solicitation is a little different. I always thought solicitation is you coming to Like, I, I'm 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 at a loss for that question, but I will wrap my head around that. I promise. Um, Sam Williams, I wonder if this reflects our ages. Maybe younger people don't feel this way. Is everyone here over 40? I think that a lot of the age demographic for people that do listen to the podcast or watch the podcast is definitely 35 plus. Um, yeah, it might be a generational shift. I hope it's not because I don't know. I don't there's for me there's just nothing sexy about what happens on OnlyFans. There are great content creators. There are people that actually put a good amount of effort into it. But there are some people who absolutely make their money in, I don't want to say rudimentary, but the most uh, what's the best way to say this without sounding judgmental, or there's absolutely people that do the best with what they have, and and have made a good amount of money. But to each his own. There might be a lot of people that enjoy just the camera hanging out in the corner and like being a fly on the wall. Okay, solicitation meaning paid sex work. Well, but everything nowadays is paid sex work. Even like the studios that we do. I get what you're saying, but there are genuinely people out there that enjoy having sex in front of people and they just happen to get paid for it. Well, I think it's art, and you have a gift of knowing what the viewer wants to see and how to make your art, your vision art. I, Kevin, I appreciate that. I wish that I was able to do more stuff that I want to do. However, kind of like I was saying before, I do the best with what is given to me, and the people that I work for, like Treasure Island, they have a certain aesthetic. They have certain ways they like stuff, and I've definitely pushed more for how I want to see things, and they've been very open to it. But yeah, I feel like with anything, you kind of have to make the best of what's given to you, and I absolutely appreciate that comment. Deep is amazing. 84. I feel as though Treasure Island is a thing of the past now. I've avoided their content altogether. Okay, I can somewhat agree. I can somewhat agree with what you're saying. I'm just curious as to why you feel that way. I have a specific opinion about it. I feel like Treasure Island definitely opened the door and pushed the boundaries in their time, but now because everybody's making bareback porn, they're just kind of like any other studio. And I I pray my bosses don't hear that, but at the same time, I pray my bosses hear that because the only way to succeed is to shift with the times and the changes and find other way. There's definitely things that they've been working on or talked about that I feel are innovative. It's just when you have when you have this formula and you're making money, which is what this is all about, everybody kind of just stays with making money. It's kind of like Hollywood at this point. Scorchy 666. I know so many dancers and gay clubs offer OnlyFans, but they rip you off 25 $30 for a few clips and maybe a new photo every couple of weeks. There's no value to it. You're absolutely right. I think you have to do your due diligence when it comes to who you are following on OnlyFans. I've fallen prey to a lot of people that just put up 3 minute clips, but there are some really really good performers out there. Deep is amazing. I think they were more known for their shock and pushing limits. Okay, I understand where that comes from, but I knowing the people that work at Treasure Island and knowing Paul Morris, I think it was more about presenting what he wanted to see or what he thought was missing. So the pushing limits and the shock value came after that. I think it's kind of like that dopamine hit, right? Once you get it, like that's why we have all these influencers that kind of push the bar or lower the bar, let's say. Once you get it, you kind of want to keep doing it, but it came from a very organic place. Absolutely respect the classics they released. Okay, so I'm sorry, I answered that before I got to that. So, um, user IF9X4, great podcast. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Sam Williams, 7725. Is there any real independent porn auteurs anymore? Are there any? I'm sorry. Is there still a place in the industry for artistic vision? I think there are. I wish there were more. I think there are, and a lot of them are independent, European, and the best place to find them are there's a string of porn film festivals that are occurring all throughout the world at this point. At one point, it was just Berlin, and then San Francisco had one. But I feel like the best place to find porn auteurs is at these festivals. Kevin, I personally think Treasure Island was groundbreaking and shocking, but it's a different style of porn. But now you're right. It's just like other studios now. Dawson was a big deal in the 2000s. I um I agree. Funny enough, I work for this company that I never I never watched. I even when I started working there, I didn't watch the back catalog because it just for me it wasn't my kind of porn. Even when I was working out at Dark Alley and Raw Fuck Club, like the decision to go bareback, it wasn't really my style. What I was doing was just I just happened to be a person that enjoyed uh, making productions, shooting pornography, and Treasure Island kind of allowed me to continue doing that without me having to study their back catalog. Once I did, that was very interesting. They tagline was "Gay Core." Oh yeah, no, Hubert, Dickwad was apparently the first company to do a bareback porn film in 1997 by accident. Yeah. Anyway, there's 14 of you guys on. I'll be on for a couple more. You know what? I'm gonna call it at 12:15. Please, I absolutely appreciate this. Spitfire, keep going. Um, I will answer as many questions as possible. It's also 12:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here. I had a couple cocktails. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm having my nightcap here, and yeah, I am very willing and able to answer more questions. But I probably will stay on for another 10 minutes or so. And real quick for everybody that's here that wasn't here before, season 5, which I plan on releasing in January, is going to focus on the 1980s. It's going to be 12 episodes that are history, 12 episodes that are podcast interviews with models of today, and 6 interviews that are fetish and kink themed. Sam Williams, would you ever consider covering one of these porn film festivals? Absolutely. I was introduced to these porn film festivals in Berlin when one of the films that we did for Dark Alley was competing for a film there, and it won Best Film. It was called Death Drive. Awesome film. Um, and yeah, no, I went back with a film that I made, or it was a Dark Alley porn film called Trump and Dump, which was about the first Trump administration, or like right before he was getting sworn in 2016, 2017, and it was shot at the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, I've been there a couple times. I would absolutely cover that. I covered I went to Tennessee to cover the fornication party in one of the first gay campgrounds in the country, and that was a lot of fun. That's going to come out at some point in like 2 weeks or so. It's like a little promo video, so that's something that I kind of want to expand out to is a little more of not necessarily gay lifestyle, but mostly stuff where porn stars gravitate to, or where there's parties where porn stars are, and then eventually maybe later on do more gay lifestyle stuff. Okay, so Deep is amazing. There's one performer from the 80s I've been waiting to hear about. Who is that? Very curious. Hot Desert Nights was in the 2000s. Dick Wad was definitely the first. And but the thing is it depending technically they were the first because it was by accident. It wasn't a decision that they made. Okay, Kevin, you do you need to do another Trump and the video. That was a funny porn vid. I had a great time making that. Um, True story. Trump and Dump came from a email that I got while I was working at Raw Fuck Club from one of the subscribers, and the subscriber said something that made me think that a lot of the people that were watching Raw Fuck Club were very alt right at the time. Remember, alt right was the term that everybody was using in 2016, 2017. And in order to prove to my boss that this was true, I said, I'm going to shoot something and we'll see what the response is. And after it came out, it was, I mean, I think I haven't been on the site in recent times, but I think it was one of the most hated scenes on the website. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I very happy to have the most hated and the most loved scene on that website. Brian Hawks. Okay, Deep is amazing. I will look him up, and depending on how much information there is out there, I will do I will do a video on him. Which leads me to really quickly just also promote the fact that season 5, kind of like season 4, will consist of quickies, which are 1 minute videos and shorts that primarily came from looking up models or directors or movies and finding whether or not they had enough information out there or interviews out there that you can create a story from. When they were shorter or there wasn't a lot of information, I would do these quickies in order to pay tribute. Fluffers 3 to 5 minutes, so they'll be a big part of next season. And I think I'm going to lead with those in I'm sorry, in December before getting to the season premiere in January. The bigger, the better. Okay, well, that's one of the movies that's going to be featured. So, okay, Sam Williams. Sorry, I'm a little scratchy over here. Have you seen any of the films Matt Cullen? Oh, have you seen any of the Matt Cullen interviews? Sam, I haven't. I know that he's done them, and I was in contact with Derek Stanton. I think they're great, but I don't listen or I don't watch any of them because if I do get a chance to interview these stars, um, I don't want to have that interview kind of lead the questions that I would ask. I think it's amazing, though. I think he did one with Derek Stanton, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but he was from the '70s. And yeah, no, I think it's great. I think any kind of exposure that adult entertainers can have is good. Is great. Deep is amazing. Looking forward to the new season's content. I appreciate your work and definitely enjoy the longer content. Thank you. I appreciate that. There's a little bit of everything. Shorter for everybody. Everybody's doing short videos and short clips now. So in order to not like regurgitate the longer ones and put them with the shorter ones, which I do with the trailer sometimes, I think that this is a really, really good way to kind of include people who should be who should have some kind of tribute for the work that they've done in the industry. You know. And Kevin, is the rumors true that drugs are a big part of porn? I know you don't allow it, but like studios such as Slam Rush, is that even real? I can't speak for I can't speak for other studios. I know that I can't I know what I've heard about Slam Rush. I will say this. uh, the only drug use I see in my time in the industry are pharmaceuticals. I think I don't think people understand how integral the pharmaceutical industry is to the porn industry, and by that I just mean like Trimex, Bimex, Viagra, Cialis. Like that's mostly the drug use that I see on set. Chad Johnson. Okay, I think he's on the list. Yeah, I know. So Viagra, there's black Viagra now, which I don't know what the difference is, but you know, yeah, I think the worst it gets is like I mean, some people smoke weed, and I have no problem with that because I think it allows them to kind of like loosen up. But if it comes to the point where people are doing, where people are, if I can tell you're high, I have no interest in working with you. So yeah. All right. So I'm a little over my time, but I do. If you have any questions, okay, it's 12:15 now. Let's do 5 more minutes and see what you guys got. And while I wait, oh, hold on. I'm sorry. That's right. I did get some questions via email. Which, if you don't know, the website has been revamped, demystifyinggayporn.com, and there is a question section. You can submit your questions there. I look at them. I appreciate them. So I got a question today from Anthony. Have you ever filmed a scene where you were so turned on that you needed to take a break to relieve yourself? Uh, if I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, I shot a solo scene for Treasure Island last year where I didn't go and relieve myself, but it was the first time that I had gotten it was the first time that I had gotten so turned on by the scene because of the person's charisma that I definitely felt like I was a part of the scene. And then speaking to the model afterwards, he felt the same way. But I will never cross I will never cross that boundary. Sam Williams, I love that you will share the entire film. That is the subject of DGP. Thanks so much again. No problem. Are you kidding? So, Sam, you're on my one of my patrons, patreon.com slash backslash demystifying gay porn. I absolutely appreciate all the patrons that do support the channel, and when I do review a film or when I do talk about a film, I put the film online for everyone to see because I want to make sure that they are watching the same thing that I'm about to review. And I think that's what Sam's referring to. So I appreciate that. I would love to see some more feed content. I would love to see more feed content too. I think that I've gained appreciation for it, so I'll sneak it in whenever I can. There's a couple of scenes that I shot in Atlanta for Treasure Island that are coming out soon, and um, as long as they don't edit it out, there's definitely feet, which is fun. And sometimes it's not even on purpose. It's just certain models do have a tendency to go for the feet, and when they do, I shoot it. Just excited for season 5. Can you post your Patreon link? Love to support you and your work. Great Q&A. Um, I will, Kevin. I'll post it. Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to. Let's see. I don't know if that's solicitation too. But no, yeah, I would absolutely appreciate it. It's basically just patreon.com backslash demystifying gay porn. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat. Um, let's just make sure I type this in correctly. Let's see what that says. Okay. Yeah, and I do post other stuff. I post a day or two before the video goes live. I ask questions. Yeah, and I'm constantly available on there. Is that RLNDO? Are there performers you've interviewed in the past that you'd like to interview again? Always. Every time I interview a model that's been on the podcast before, it's like interviewing a friend, which it is. It's a lot of these guys are friends, and that's a good reason or a main reason why I started the podcast was I enjoyed talking to these people, and I thought it would be great to share them in a different way with viewers. And I knew that there was well, not that I knew, but I felt like there may be a place for that online, and I'm glad you guys have been very reciprocal to it. Oh, I got alive. Hey, DAP Universe Tower, how are you? Really serendipitous considering I've been on Treasure Island Media Kick lately. Okay, well, here I am. If you have any questions, I'm here. Eric Evans. Okay, Wita F1111. I will absolutely look at that. Kevin, thank you again and thanks for getting us off. No problem. Any chance I get. Rolando. Okay, I figured it was Rolando. I know. I figured you left out the consonants. Right? No, the vowels. I'm sorry. Ignore the abbreviation. No problem. All right. I love doing this. I'm very, very grateful that you guys are on. So in order to show how grateful, okay, it's 12:20 here. Let's do 10 more minutes. So a good, nice cutoff at 12:30. I'll be here and answer some questions. Okay, for those of you who just came in, absolutely go nuts, go to town. Sam Williams, do you do DGP all alone? Do you at least have some people to help with the podcast? Uh, Primarily, it's me. Right now, it's me. Um, I do, or before I had, his porn name is Erection. He works for Champ Robinson's website, and he's in Jersey. And I connected him with Champ Robinson, so um, I know he knows what he's doing. He has a background in film, or he has a background in shooting and production. So I am going to work with him to help me do the history podcasts because it's very helpful. And he's also trying to get a podcast going for something else completely different outside of the industry. So if I can give any kind of pointers and stuff, I'm more than willing to do that. But I know that I can trust him to help me shoot. But for the most part, yeah, it's literally just me sitting in front of the computer, grinding away, and then also it's me in front of or reading the books and doing all the research. Yeah. Jason, appreciate your work on YouTube. Brings us old fellas back to what we call the good old days. Well, Jason, I appreciate that. If I can do that for you, um, I'm very happy to. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, my voice is a little hoarse. For anybody wondering, it's a gin and tonic. Uh, it's been a long week. It's been a long month. It's been a long year. Has it not? So yeah, so that was one of the questions that I had online. While I'm waiting for another question, I'll go ahead and answer another one that came in earlier. From Muscle Munch, I'd like to ask, could you try and do an interview with Blake Harper? I'd like to know about his life, how it is now, and his relationship with the late Colton Ford. Sure, I will absolutely look him up and see what he's up to. This is right up my alley, considering how much content I've personally collected. Okay, Not gonna lie, I kind of want to know about that framed artwork hanging in the wall behind you. Oh, Rolando, thank you so much. Okay, so um, uh, in my other life, I do make documentaries, and my parents are Cuban and Peruvian. Uh, I have a very, very strong connection with my Cuban side because I grew up around a lot of Cubans in northern New Jersey. And in 2006, I made a documentary which opened, um, I guess it opened a lot of doors or opened my eyes to a lot of other artists that were in the area. And I met this one artist who made an amazing movie in Cuba called Nadie Escuchó in Spanish, which is Nobody Listened. And the movie was so scandalous at the time. And it was about the fact that at a certain point in Cuba's history, Castro had, I guess today we would call it disappeared. He um, he basically rounded up everybody that was HIV positive or had AIDS and put them in an area or in a camp in Cuba. But the fucked up part about that was for like months, people didn't know where their family members were, and then eventually they were able to reach out to their families. So he made this documentary and left the country to do an art promotion. And by the time he landed in the other country in Europe, they basically were like, you can never come back. And he's a multimedia artist or a mixed media artist. And this painting back here, which I will give you a look at, is called Noah's Ark, right? So it's huge, and every time I look at it, I find something new. So here's an artist who came to this country, and the last I spoke to him was a security guard at MoMA, right? So beautiful art, and he's a security guard for other artists, right? Not displaying his stuff, but being as close to art as he can be. And the reason why it's in my possession is because um, he had to leave his apartment and didn't have a home for it. And he said, "I know you like it. Would you hold on to it for me?" And yeah, here it is. Thank you very much, Kevin. I appreciate that. Okay, so yeah, no, Castro absolutely did that. He was exiled. Yeah, no, he's amazing. Some of the stuff he did was great. West 45th. Hold on a second. Kevin, no, are you? Is this okay? So add Kevin. Is this Kevin from Pulio's? Is that what? Oh my God, Kevin Thornton. Please. Oh my God, that would be amazing. Please tell me at Kevin Thornton 6829. Tell me that's you. Oh my God. I actually Kevin Thornton 6829. I was just across the street from and let me give these guys some context. 2004 to 2006, I bartended at a before I was bored. Another life at this point. I bartended at a place called Pulio's, and it was in the Broadway district. So a lot of Broadway stars would come in and stuff. And um, Kevin Thornton was the bartender from upstairs. and I think one of the last times I saw you, Kevin, was at Folsom East, if I'm not mistaken. But I was just there, and unfortunately, they demolished the restaurant and they turned it into a parking lot, if I'm not mistaken. But I was just there because I went to see the Buena Vista Social Club musical. Funny, and we're just talking about Cuban artists and stuff. Michael, thank you for reintroducing a new generation to these movies and to these men. These are wonderful young men. Some of them were my dear friends. Well, thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate that, and that's predominantly what this is all about: is showing people where we came from. Like I said in the first session today, how this is, I kind of just was thrown into this industry, not thrown in, but I applied. But you kind of, okay, well, welcome to this company. Here's a camera. Shoot these people having sex. But it's one of the only industries where you don't really have to go to school for. You don't study the history of, and after collecting some books and watching some films from way back when, I felt like it was a duty. Like, like here are people who are making the reason why you're able to make all this content, and the reason why you're able to say stuff and do stuff online is because of these people. And if you don't know that they existed and you don't know why you have those rights, there's something wrong with that picture. Hold on, Celia Cruz. Yeah, absolutely. Celia Cruz was Castro's favorite singer, and when she wouldn't sing for him, she didn't he didn't let her back in. Never saw her family again. Deep is amazing. Good to see many intelligent and refreshing, smart people in this chat. Absolutely. The fan base on, not even, not, it's not fans. I'm sorry. The subscriber base, because I'm not looking for fans. The subscriber base is everything to me. You guys are so nice and so um, appreciative of the work, which makes it so much better, so much. Like, I enjoy doing this more than I enjoy my job. And I enjoy my job, but this is like a labor of love. I absolutely appreciate it. And yeah, no, you guys are amazing. Oh, Kevin, thank you. I appreciate that. DP is amazing. This is the kind of content I don't mind putting my full support behind. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And Kevin, you opened my eyes to so many amazing 70s porn that I didn't even know existed. Also, Al Parker episode. Al Parker's episode was great. Um, and I keep referring back to the other sessions because I did do two of them. And if you want to play it in the background while you're doing something else tomorrow, by all means. But the Al Parker episode, I tried to get full monetization for. I try to get full monetization for, predominantly because not monetization because I wanted the money. I don't want, that's not my main deal. The thing is the way YouTube works is when you're monetized, that means your stuff can have advertising and it can go out to wider audiences. And I did everything just like every video. Um, Sometimes they're late because I do 3 to 4 cuts of the video because they kind of tease me like, okay, well, change this and we'll make it happen, or change that. And then at the end, they're like, you know what? We're not going to monetize this at all. So there were restrictions placed on the Al Parker video. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. This is a great thing. I'm going to go back to the original. And I made it public. And you guys, I don't know, I think it's at like 250,000 views. And I appreciate that. We are absolutely a community. Sam, thank you. John Matthews, years ago, Adele Films were the only place to see two men kiss. You are absolutely right. Yeah. There's a lot of education that happened through Adele Films, especially for us, especially as gay people. Rolando, does this work ever feel bittersweet? Like, does it feel like you are still fighting to show people our humanity? I'm personally thankful for what you do, by the way. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, I'm not drinking to get drunk, by the way. I'm drinking because my throat is dry. Um, yes. And to your question, Rolando, when I talk about monetization, um, YouTube demonetized the entire channel at one point, which was frustrating and also I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. It was so it was degrading because they called it a channel that was only made for people to get off. Basically, they were calling it porn when, in reality, yes, we're talking about adult entertainment and porn, but in a tasteful way. And the appeal that I wrote, I don't think I've ever been so honest about anything in my life because, like I said, it felt very degrading to think that when you watch these films and just like I'm just going to really quickly go back to this, just like John Matthews said, and the only place to watch two gay men kiss were in adult films. Gay erotic films and gay porn in the 70s and the 60s and the 80s, more so in the 60s and the 70s, were the most honest representation of who we were. So if I'm making videos that are showing these documents that happened in the 60s and 70s and someone's saying, well, this is porn or this is indecent, when we were allowed to watch films that made fun of us and made us stereotypes, I can't think of anything more degrading. That was more degrading. The fact that we were called sissies and we were this and we were pansies and we were just this stereotype that people can make fun of or villains. Um, that all went into the appeal. And I told them you have to take another look at this channel. And they did, and within a week they put it back up. Granted, still restricted, but very happy that they at least considered it. Not happy that they didn't even think of it in a different way. It is an educational channel, in my opinion. I don't put stuff up to be gratuitous. I don't put stuff up so that you guys there's porn channels and there's porn networks and websites that you can go and watch that stuff on. This is very, very different. What I do is very different, in my opinion. And there's that's the best way I can describe it. All right, let's see what's going on here. YouTube, like many streaming platforms, love to play favorites, and that makes sense. Oh wow! Oh my God, Kevin Thornton. We did see each other at the A House in Provincetown. Rolando, that's a reach, though. I feel like what you do is more an attempt to do quite the opposite of getting people off. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's history. Yeah, no, it's history. I love its history. I was just watching it yesterday, and they don't get demonetized. But just like I was talking to one of my friends today, uh, the most political thing you can do in this country is be gay. And to go further with that, the most political thing you can do in this country is have gay sex. I, it's just it's and I'm not the first person to say that. There are various people, and they have context to add to that. So look at it. That's why people have problems with gay stuff being taught in schools. I get it. The minute you have to explain gay to anybody, you have to go deep. Well, why? There's going to be secondary questions. Can you bring back the Cult Studio series? I would like to learn about Liedermeister and other vintage gay porn stars. If there's any notice, if there's any noticeable, the earliest generation to the latest. um, I did do a section, or I did do an essay on the Cult Studio, or on Cult Studios. Liedermeister, I actually do. Liedermeister, I'm not gonna lie to you, I did him dirty because I did the research, and then I kind of, and he just passed not too long ago. I didn't revisit it, and I will. I'll put that up before jumping into season 5. This is a lot about them and what they think of your work in the community. Kevin, what you do on YouTube is more as a history series as the gay community history. These do not make you want to get off. It educates and stimulates thought. You're absolutely right, and I appreciate both you and Rolando for saying so. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to stop, obviously. And if I get kicked off, knock on wood, I don't want to, because unfortunately you have to play with the game. I'll move somewhere else. I'll move to another place. Kevin, what I thought was degrading was how badly scripted it was in the 70s. Way too stereotypical. Yeah, no, Kevin, there were definitely bad gay films made in the 70s. I absolutely agree with you. But for the most part, there were a lot of artists that were making erotic gay films. Why did Jack Dixon retire? I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I wish I had a better answer for that, writing in jazz. Let me actually really, really quickly look him up. I love how I've gone 10 minutes over the time I said I would allow myself. But let's see. Jack Dixon, gay porn. Depending on what decade he's in, I may or may not cover him. um, so he's from now. I'm not familiar with him. I've definitely seen him. Um, but I can always find out. Calling it camp doesn't make it less cringe. I agree 100%. Austin Wild. Hold on. I just in another session I talked about somebody. I just want to make sure. What was Austin Wild sentenced for? Oh, thank you, John. John says your video on William Higgins was very respectful. I met him in Amsterdam in the '80s. A great man. Yeah, he was. There were a lot of interviews with him. He had a kind face. That wasn't a hard video to do. It was interesting. He did a lot of things and made a lot of good movies. Oh yeah, I think you're thinking of Austin Wolf. My mouth still hangs open for Colton Ford. Colton Ford, was that recently? That was recent. I remember this. Yeah. Um. So I said before in the last session of Q and A's, I don't know, and I have allegedly, right. So I don't know what drives people. I will never understand what disconnect happens in here to make you think that anything like what he did or allegedly did is uh, what makes that work in someone's brain? I'll never understand it. So I don't know. I don't know the man. I never worked with him. Uh, but yeah, it's some fucked up shit. I don't harming anybody in general is just it's not I don't know how best to describe it. I don't think I have to. I think there's uh I don't know what happens to a moral compass at some point. And the fucked up situation about this is there's fetish sites that they exist everywhere. They exist on in straight porn, they exist in gay porn. Um from my understanding, I would think that they exist so that you don't have to like watch or do anything that's anywhere on that level. So, yeah, I like I don't want I can't I don't want to speculate. I don't know the person. What he did was horrible. Uh, but yeah, that's as that's as much as I can say about it with no knowledge. Okay, so he did Naked Fame. It's so tragic. Titan men used condoms. Well, I mean, I don't know. Okay, fine, it's tragic, but also like you got to think about the time that everything was happening. So Mitch Matthews was a bit of a shock, though, as he was an amazing performer who really caught my attention. I'm not sure what Mitch Matthews did. Allegedly he's been convicted. I think he's going to jail. Like I think like this is it. Like he's kiss for my fans goodbye or but at the end of the day, no one really knows about these people beyond what they do on camera. And it's best not to put them absolutely nobody should be put on a pedestal. We're all human. We all make mistakes. There are people of all walks of life. You can't assume anything good, just like you can't assume anything bad, or hopefully you can't. Yeah, I can try to get in the mind of a lot of people, or try to like how sometimes you kind of want to you kind of want to try to understand how somebody would feel a certain way, but there's definitely certain things. Animals, kids, body fluid, like I don't know. There's just certain things that just never resonated or never resonate with me, and for as much as I would try to, it's just doesn't work. I don't know. Writing jazz. Why is studio porn so parody and skittish now? It's terrible. I don't know. That's a good question. I would love to ask them the same thing. Depends on what studios too. I don't think there's any. The only thing that I know, well, this is putting me on a list of studios that might not want to work with me, but who cares? Um, I don't think there's anything creative about studio porn in California. I think once you start making money doing that kind of stuff, you just kind of want to keep doing it because you want the money to keep coming in. But that's every business. Mitch did the same as Austin Wolf, and he got caught too. Okay, I'll look him up. I'm not familiar with Mitch Matthews. There's it happens. Look, it happens here. It happens in straight porn. There's a lot of Republicans and pastors and religious people. It happens. It happens more so than not. Um, it sucks that it gets tied to a lot of gay people in the porn industry more than this guy, I can't remember who he was, but some pastor somewhere that was associated with the Trump administration, and nobody covered it. The guy was let out in handcuffs for sending inappropriate text messages or speaking inappropriately to an underage girl. It's it sucks. Ryan Idle, yeah, no, Ryan Idle will be featured absolutely. John Matthews, what do you think about performers who say they found God and became homophobic? That's a very layered question, John. Um, well, I think finding God is one thing, and I think being homophobic is another, especially after having a lot of dick in your ass and dick in your mouth. Um, or the other way around. Yeah, I know that's a double punch. Uh, I don't know. As I get older, I find that there are certain things that you're kind of like, oh, well, I never thought of it that way. Like situations like that happen, but I don't know. I maybe there are people who do, I don't know, try to be straight after being gay. Although I don't know. For me as a person, like what I can say is I know that that's never going to be the case, and yeah, I don't know if I copped out on that question. I'm sorry. And Men's Studios is awful. You know what? I will never work for Men's Studios because they'll probably never ask me. So I will agree with you on that. Fucking Men's Studios is awful. um, let's see. John Matthews, that question makes me think of Devin Franco and how unhinged he's become. That name sounds so familiar. Orlando, it pisses me off that we're the ones that get stigmatized with that. Yeah, no, it's always, and it's such a like the word grooming just bothers me so much because the right used it for such a long time, and it's so ridiculous because yeah, you want to talk about a dirty industry, let's talk about politics. DB is amazing. You have a close relationship with God regardless of sexuality. You're absolutely right. Um, from what I understand, or from the time that I've been here, religion is a personal thing, but it's also an attitude thing. And if you're a good person and you are religious or you have faith, you're going to be a good religious person. If you are a horrible person or just a mean person, you're going to be a mean person who uses religion as a tool to oppress or just keep people down or just use it in the way that you see it. Let's check the scoreboard and see who engages in that trash behavior more. No, you're right. Writing jazz. What do you think about Legrand Wolf and what he's got going on with stepson fetish porn? I mean, I don't know. Legrand Wolf, I've been wanting to interview for a while, and we got very close, and then the pandemic happened, and we have not spoken about it since. He found a market, and it worked. Isn't necessarily a market that's healthy, probably not, but it is what it is. And again, it's an industry and it makes money. So, Henning Diesel, in what way are you inspired to get creative and make history in your own work? I notice there's very little effort to make actual narrative driven films with real characters and storylines. I would love to do that. I would love to do that. The thing is I do that on the side. Currently, where I work, I give them what they want, and they are more than happy with it, and I'm very appreciative of it. And I do stuff on the side. Do I wish I can do more stuff very similar to what I'm doing? And I'm working on that now. Yes, absolutely. Um, I have character driven stuff that some days, very, very soon, I will do. And I'm not saying like there's a lot of projects out there, but I absolutely have three in mind that like I've held dearly for a number of years that I think I'd be happy to be associated with. Not to say that I'm not happy to be associated with a lot of the work that I do now, but um, the work that I do now is forgetful, in my opinion. Unless it's very hot scenes, but the way the industry works is, you churn them out and you churn them out. And I wish it wasn't the case. Let's see. Thank you for that question. I appreciate it, Henning Diesel. Devin Franco. Okay. Oh, okay. I know Devin Franco. Yes. Okay. As I get older, I realize I'm more spiritual and religious, and that's perfectly okay. I still believe in God, just in a slightly different way. I agree with you. I've never had beef. Well, no. I did have beef with religion for my own personal reasons, and they're very good reasons. But I the problem that I have with religion now, and we're gonna go there because it's 12:54, right? All right, 6 more minutes, guys. It's gonna be 1 AM here. But the problem I have with religion now, and I know that maybe you don't wanna hear it from me, but I'm also a person with an opinion, is uh, people are too quick to say, "If I didn't have God by my side, I don't know how I would have gotten through something so hard." When in reality, I don't think people realize that you are God in yourself. You have that power in yourself. It's You can go to church and they tell you the power of God is within you, and you say, and also with you. It's like namaste. The light in me honors the light in you. Um, I think people need to understand how powerful they are and not give credit to what they believe is somebody that they've never met and they will never see, but they think they talk to, but in reality, they're probably talking to themselves and they help themselves out of problems. So I don't think people understand how powerful they are inside. Um, and they're too quick to give credit to, again, something or some entity that they will never see, as opposed to giving credit to where it actually lies. Are those models Legrand works with in a cult situation? I'm not sure. I don't think they are. I think they're just getting paid kind of like everyone else, but yeah. Whether you realize it or not, you're doing it in real time with this channel. In 100, oh, thank you. I appreciate in 100 years, these videos would be archived in some library. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do hope so. Um, yeah. What past Kassan M? Not everyone is watching from the US. I am from Europe, and I welcome you. Thank you. I know that there are a lot of US people that watch from the US, but also from Europe. So, and I am going to, at the same time, season 5 is going to be done in English. It's going to be done in Spanish, and then after that, I may translate into other languages. But I only speak English and Spanish, so the other ones will be probably AI generated. I'm not sure yet. I don't know if I'm explaining myself well, but like the men look more approachable. Guys that are too worked for me are not approachable in watching. I absolutely understand what you're saying. Yes, the guys in the 70s were just like guys, and I think that there's a resurgence of that happening now in porn as well, depending on the studios that you are watching. But yeah, no, the guys in the '80s, you probably saw them at a bar and nobody approached them because they thought they were unapproachable, and at the same time, they were probably like, "I'm so lonely. Nobody's talking to me." Okay, so let's see. I'm reading a lot of the religious comments, and I appreciate it. Do you know Parker Logan? I sure do. Hi from London, John. How are you? Hi from London. Do you have any plans to research other '70s stars such as Jason McBride, Just in Time, or music from the films such as Patrick Crowley or Cowley? I'm sorry. Are you aware of the upcoming documentary on Mickey Squires? Um, I know who Mickey Squires is. I'm not aware of his documentary, but I will look it up. And yeah, no, if there's models from the '70s or stars from the '70s that I missed, I will absolutely revisit and do videos on them. I feel like I did as good a job as I could have to include as many people as possible. But yeah, no, absolutely. Some models are and also it's also how much information is available out there on them. It's just living in the Americas. It may be amazing and would be a different. Okay, cool. Absolutely. What past Casan M? No, yeah, por supuesto. I would love to do that. Talk about Parker. I want to marry him. He's one of my favorites. I would love to talk about Parker. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm fading fast, but no, Parker's a nice guy. I haven't been in touch with him in 2 years, but I have worked with him. We did some good stuff together, and I think he's still in New York. Um, but if you want to marry him, I don't go on Twitter. Have you told him? Have you professed to him your love? I'm glad to still be growing to a mental and emotional level, as you should be. Absolutely. Um, I've not been with Parker Logan. I've been in the same room with Parker Logan. Opinion on age verification. I don't think it's that much of a big deal. I think that yeah, no, I think everything. I think if I agree with age verification, 18 and over to watch certain things, absolutely. We know we get around it. I mean, I remember being way too young to be watching certain things, and my parents way too busy with work and raising us, or well, work predominantly, but way too busy to know what we were watching and growing up quicker than we should. But with the amount of stuff that's out there, absolutely, I agree with age verification. It sucks for us who are of age, but we also have to think of kids that might get their hands on stuff that they shouldn't. Hola from Phoenix. How are you, Phoenix? Phoenix Fix pool is still open. Come visit. Hey, open invitation to a pool in Phoenix? Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, so age verification VPNs in Europe, bricklayer. Okay, so I'm assuming a bricklayer F or bricklayer 101. 1001 is a model, Kevin. All right, so it's 102, 3 minutes. I will do a couple more questions. Um, bring them on in, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Are you interested in doing anything with the people on the other side of the camera, past and present? There have definitely been a couple models that I've been attracted to, but I will never cross that line with a model for various reasons. And one of the first ones is it's not my time, it's their time. Um, I've had situations where afterwards we've hung out, like early on in my career in porn or shooting porn, but no, it's not. It I don't know, it changes everything, you know? I'm watching it, I'm shooting it, and I'm watching it in a different way than um I'm watching it kind of trying to watch it the way you would watch it. Leo picked me up one day for the beach, and all day I called him Lance. We had fun in those days. I was in the water yelling, Lance, come, come, Lance, come. We all had fun. I miss Lance. Orlando, it would be dope to know more about the people that dare to be controversial, especially in the early days. Absolutely. So one of the one of the people I'm very much looking forward to putting all together is Christopher Rage from the '80s, who did a lot of stuff that I did not like. There's a lot of movies that he made that just don't. They're not my cup of tea, let's say, but he did it. Like he did everything that he felt, everything that he was as a person. He put out on camera. So I'm looking forward to that episode. Keep it hardcore. Thank you very much, Phoenix Fit. And I'm going to take you up on that offer if you're serious. Kevin Thornton, Lou, great hearing from you and great seeing you. Bear hugs to you too, sir. I look forward to the next time that we're in the same room sharing space. Orlando, oh my God, I worded that wrong. Sorry. I meant the cameraman or camerawoman from the early days of filming. Okay, so wait, let me go back to that. Are you interested in doing anything with people? Oh, I see what you're saying. I did a couple of episodes on directors. I'm fascinated by directors. Because in the '70s and stuff, like they were the ones that pretty much put it together. It was their thoughts that were like you're watching what they thought was sexy. I think that's great, and also collaborating with the models. Sam Williams, any future plans of featuring more PLC models and Latinos? Absolutely. The thing is, if I'm doing a linear history of gay porn, unfortunately, there's not going to be a lot of people of color in in the '70s and in the '60s. There were some people that did. So Peter Jerome did a whole orgy or a gangbang with black men. Um, yeah, and all through the '70s or this past season, I featured a lot of Black and Latin models to counteract the fact that a lot of the stuff that I was going to be focusing on were not people of color. One of the struggles too now with the next season that's coming up is there's not. I thought there would be more uh, people of color coming into this season, but there's not as many as I thought there were. The '90s is when it starts happening, like more so, and more so in their own terms, as opposed to being a stereotypical object of desire or fantasy. I just consulted with the Googler and he goes there. Shout out to him. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. There's a great documentary on Peter Durham. There is, and I used it as research for the short that I did on him. Yeah. All right, guys. 107. So here's the thing. I have to thank you all for being here. I absolutely appreciate it. Um, I'm going to do a shameless plug because that's what we do, right? Watch for the next season. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. I absolutely appreciate it. Tell your friends um, about all the episodes. There's 4 seasons at this point. There's a plethora of content on the channel. If you want to go further and you want to go to Patreon, amazing. Absolutely appreciated. You don't have to, but if you do want to, again, very, very appreciated. Back and watch previous streams, absolutely. Um, Yeah, John, I agree. Great chat. Thank you guys so much for doing this, or for being on and listening to me chat for an hour and 24 minutes, and for contributing your questions. And I look forward to doing more stuff. Um, demystifyinggayporn.com. That's where you can put other questions if you want. If you have a kink or a fetish and you want to talk to me about it anonymously for the podcast, I would love to. That would be something that that I enjoy. And yeah, I appreciate your support. Thank you so much for being up with me so late. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Does Patreon fund your movie projects too? No, it doesn't fund my movie projects too, but hopefully soon, someday. Patreon, what Patreon does, before I go, Patreon, what I use it for is web hosting, help with production, and books. I don't know if you try finding books on certain subjects in gay porn, they're usually out of print or a little expensive. It's almost like buying books for college and university. They're quite up there. So yeah, I do appreciate that. All right, good night, everybody. Thank you so much. Be safe, be happy, and I will see you soon. Cheers.